phantom record press.
Phantom record press? What does that even mean?
Like you press it and you think you're ready to go.
Oh, has that happened to you where you thought you pressed the record button and you're like, I didn't click it hard enough?
Definitely on my cell phone. Many a times.
And you missed something epic?
No, but
that's always the worst. And then you go to click record, like all right, I got the clip, finish recording, and then you see the red light and you're like, no.
Whoa.
The event has already happened.
Yeah.
I think I've done that a handful of times.
Yeah. Yep,
well,
it happens.
You and I haven't done an episode, just you and I, in a long time. I feel like we called for one.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of guests, haven't we?
Yeah, I am.
And
I'm ready for a nice talk.
You and I just get to chill today. I've posted a short every day for 60 days.
What the
YouTube short?
What the hell's a short?
A YouTube short. Do we need to explain a YouTube short for people who aren't familiar?
Maybe.
It's, I guess, yeah. How would you describe it?
YouTube's version of TikTok or Instagram.
Yeah. But I will say, in my experience, the content requirements are much, much different. And we're getting into today what I've posted, why, and I think the differences in my experience between short form video on Instagram and the short form videos on YouTube Shorts. And I think a lot about expectations. So where do you think is the best place to begin if you were interviewing me?
Well, I'd want to know why you even thought of this idea and go from there.
Good question. Remember our episode with Slater where we were like, oh my God, you got 1 million YouTube subscribers. And he was like, yeah, it's not that cool. I was like, bullshit. That's really cool.
Yeah, sounds cool.
And I was like, you know what? It'd be really cool to have one of those plaques someday. At the same time, remembering in my head, practicing what we always preach, that the reward is not in the numbers of the plaque or whatever, but here's a great opportunity again to practice committing to something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm very committed to, people know I'm very committed to like my runs, workouts, things of that nature. Those are very much exercises in being disciplined, which then I can use in other areas of my life. And I said, okay, well, I have lots of great footage of wildlife and I have lots of reels or short form videos I've already made. Let's commit to doing something every single day. And let's take inspiration from that story with Slater Moore, he has his 100,000 YouTube subscriber plaque, his 1 million subscriber YouTube plaque. Good friend of ours, been on the show multiple times. Let's take that as inspiration, motivation, and let's celebrate doing something every single day for 60 days. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Did I explain that clearly enough?
Yeah, it did.
All right. So I started at 0, which is really, really fun for me because again, I'm looking at that as an opportunity. I think we've talked about before. What would it be like if your Instagram got hacked or you started at 0 again? Would you be devastated or would that be fun? What would it be for you?
A little of both, I think. I think it'd be a new opportunity to like clean the slate. It's kind of like a breakup. Like you're like, this sucks, right. But I guess the silver lining is I get to kind of, maybe there's a better fit. Maybe there's a better situation for me. Maybe there's a better way of doing this and I can do it that way from the beginning. I don't know.
Right.
It'd be interesting. It definitely would be interesting. I'm curious how I would react and what I would think. I think I might potentially pack it all in.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Potentially.
Fair enough.
Potentially. I might take a serious break.
What does packing it all in mean as we briefly
diverge here?
Diverge.
Yeah, that's a whole different episode. But
less seriousness probably into the app.
Yeah, it's like I think
you're not giving up all your camera gear. Come on.
No, not that.
Just to be clear, other people are like, "Well, really?"
Yeah, no. But just in terms of the app and like the trying, is hard. I probably just not. But
Right.
anyway,
So
go
I
on.
had an opportunity to be at zero, be a nobody on a popular platform, which is kind of fun. And I think it allowed me going into this experiment or exercise with zero expectations. I'm going to post stuff that I know is good. I have an opportunity here, unlike Reels, where I can title things, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't title things on Instagram. So like I can experiment with that. I'm going to have zero expectations and I'm going to see where I am on monthly intervals. So I did it for 30 days, kind of did a big meta analysis. And then here we are at 60 days, another meta analysis. And so in 60 days, we did 700 subscribers.
Wow.
So that's, in my opinion, that's not like crazy, right? That's just over 10 a day. But it's also not a little.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, what that tells me is, first of all, is this whole thing is really just a commitment game. If your content is half decent, it's just being committed day in and day out. Now, my strategy going into this was I'm going to post. I think one of my mistakes with Instagram for the longest time, and this is maybe a good topic to really lean into to start. One of my biggest mistakes was trying to make content that would impress other photographers or would try and get other photographers to follow me, which in my opinion was dumb. I mean, it's important to have those people in your circle to be inspired, to weigh ideas off of, to compete if that's your thing. But really, if we're trying to grow an audience, we want everyday people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was a big mistake for years of mine as a photographer on Instagram, posting content with, in my head, thinking that my audience is other photographers. It seems so like a duh moment, but I really operated that way. And so this time, on YouTube Shorts, I was posting 80% of my content was wolf footage because I have a lot of that, right? Like terabytes full. I know you're upset at me for saying that because you wish you had it, but
I muted while I was just swearing.
So I have lots of wolf footage and people love wolves. And referring back to the story with Slater, his subscriber base grew because he posted everything about whales. I feel like there's a few different animals that people go crazy over, right? Whales, owls, bears. I think wolves is one of them. Am I missing any?
I think any of the big cats, if you have them
Big
consistently.
cats. Like people have their animal. And so I said, and I remember him saying one of his biggest regrets, and Slater, forgive me if I get this wrong, but from my understanding was he has so much other good footage that he regretted doing only whales, because now if he posts anything else, it is just like, we're not here for that.
Mm-hmm.
So like big box. And so going into it, I said, I'm going to post 80% of what I post is going to be wolves, and 20% is going to be travel, photography, other wildlife, short form video, reels I've already made. And I'm going to roll with that strategy so that maybe I'm not in a complete box entirely. That old 80-20 rule.
Right.
Right. And it's funny. So everything that hasn't been a wolf has generally done poorly. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Except for things like bears and other wildlife. Now, the main difference I found with posting on YouTube Shorts and posting on Instagram is on YouTube Shorts, I found a lot of success almost posting be real type content. Here's a wolf doing something. That's it. Like, I'm not in the clip. There's no like emojis popping up.
No gimmicks.
Or a crazy hook, or me holding the lens and then it switches to photos. None of that. It's just straight up one shot of of something interesting happening, and that had major success. And I have proof of the difference between a similar piece of content and on Instagram. So I posted this clip from that I filmed from when we were in Jasper. Remember when we saw the bighorn sheep side of the road?
Mm-hmm. I do.
I had this clip of this mama bighorn, this ewe, as they're called.
Ew.
She's like digging in the dirt, right? And then her lamb baby beside her starts doing the same thing, copying her. So I posted that on Instagram, did like 2,000 plays, which for my account size is poor, right? And then I posted the exact same clip. Nothing changed, exact same thing. My highest playing video on YouTube Shorts.
I'm trying.
And I just find that interesting.
Yeah.
And I wonder why that is. Now, the only difference, and maybe this speaks to some people's strengths who have good titling skills, is that I'm able to write a title for the video. So, bighorn or baby lamb copies its mom.
Just simple.
So, like,
right to it.
Yeah, very interesting. And I've really been enjoying. I think it's also taken off some of the pressure of Instagram being the mecca. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if you're not there, you're nowhere. I mean, it's been a lot of fun having slow, consistent, steady growth on a different platform and not in the back of my mind feeling that pressure or freaking out that, oh my God, you're not posting on the big one. You're not posting on the main one. You know, it's been nice to have what I would consider a success somewhere else in a format and in a strategy that has been delivering.
Now, a couple questions.
Yeah.
First, could you dig into a little bit the difference between posting for, as you said, maybe other photographers versus everyday people? Like, what are those differences?
Yeah. That's really good. I'm glad you asked that. So I feel like when we have in mind that we're posting to impress our peers, I feel like we're really digging into the details. I feel like at times we're really prioritizing. If we have a sliding bar between quality and quantity, we're really pushing that bar to the quality side, down to the smallest details. And I think often quantity or frequency, if you want to interchange those terms, I think lags or lacks. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It means you value, like you want what you put out to be the best it possibly can be. But there are very few people who can put out incredibly detailed, perfect, immaculate stuff every day. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are. I don't know how many people listening are one of those people. I think personally those people are few and far between. Now, to get back to what you were saying, when I'm posting to impress my peers, I'm like people are going to notice the color grade. People are going to notice you had that little camera shake at second 4. People are going to notice that the beat on that song didn't line up to the animal behavior, or if you're an automotive videographer, the tires screeching or whatever. Now, I feel like with YouTube Shorts, I was able to enter a world where I'm posting this so that people enjoy seeing wolves for the most part. And everyday people don't know the LUT you put on. Everyday people don't walk away dissatisfied that they just watched your 10-second video because you had a little camera shake in the middle. They don't. I guess what I'm getting at is this has been also a really good exercise in destroying some of my perfectionism.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Like I'm able to post B-roll footage that is good, that is interesting, that isn't perfect, and it still gets results. And to me, that's been super satisfying and has really taken a lot of pressure off of the performing on Instagram, especially like with my account's 13,000. That's not that big by comparatively to a lot of other creators, but there's almost like a standard to uphold. And I feel like that's been able to get in the way of me delivering consistently or more frequently. Does that sort of answer your question?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I wonder, digging deeper, I wonder if it is an exercise in just those expectations and letting those expectations go. And the tool of YouTube allowing you to let those expectations go because there are no expectations. You're starting
At
you're
zero.
starting at zero. So you can just kind of go in truly with whatever you feel like you want to put into a social media platform. I think we talked about it
Yeah.
last time where you get stuck in the maybe two episodes ago, but we get stuck in the current, like, oh, that video performed really well. Shoot, now I'm the funny guy. Now I got to do funny things because that's what works on my account, and that puts the pressure to do it. Whether it's, oh, that really cinematic reel with the amazing color grade that took me 5 hours to do a 10-second thing, that performed really well. Well, shit. Like now I just bought myself a boatload of work to try to keep up.
Or to be somebody that I'm not, or to be somebody who doesn't even like that design of content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's been really enjoyable. I mean, the other day I posted a black and white video of a wolf, which Instagram me would scream at myself for doing that.
How dare you?
How dare you? It sounds silly, but I think this 2 months has been really eye-opening in, dude, just fucking relax. Like, post what you want to do. Don't worry about it being... The perfectionism is a work in progress. It's going to be a constant work in progress for me. Just constantly being aware of it, catching myself, and doing things like this where it's like, oh shit, I learned a lot about myself, even in just 60 days. How freeing and fun this is to just post whatever I want. You know? And again, to that principle of, I'm going to post what I think is good every single day. And the score, if you care about that, or the score, the subscribers in this instance, will take care of itself. And personally, I think like 700 is pretty good in 2 months. I'm quite happy with that. Does that do anything for me? Not really. Like, does it get me influencer status or money? No. But it's proof that some of the risks and experiments and being okay with posting imperfection has benefits or rewards, or it's still valid. And I think it's also one of those things where I think in the back of our minds too, we all think that we're going to be like the greatest. Or we have the ability to be somebody huge on Instagram or social media. But I think it's like, I'm never going to be in the top 10,000 photographers in the world.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be that person, but I can get better every day. I can learn something every day. And I think more and more every day I'm trying to stay true to that story. And I think even just saying that on a public space like this is nice for me, because I think it invites people into the human journey, right?
Yeah. And I like these episodes where I can come after you. No,
good. Come after me all you want.
No, I mean that just in a nice way, and just ask questions, because it's interesting. Like, all this stuff's interesting, and talking to another person, another creator, another peer, a good friend is interesting. So, I mean, I didn't have a lot of time to think about this topic or really know where it's going, to be honest. You brought it up very close to us recording or pressing record.
I didn't really plan for it either. I just said I posted 60 days. I kind of just want to talk about it and see where it goes.
So the theme you're hitting on here has to do a lot with like it sounds like freedom to let go and post whatever you feel like you want to post. Here's some good
Right.
content. I don't want to go crazy making like a movie about wolves. I don't want to spend hundreds of hours doing that. I want to show it. It's good content. I want a place where I can show it. Uh, Instagram, you got away from Instagram for you've done it before. You've gotten away from Instagram. Maybe it's not the perfect environment for you, and it kind of reminds me of someone that's like if you're struggling with alcohol, as an example, as you lifted up the Guinness Zero, uh, not that you are,
It's damn good.
not that you
No,
are.
I don't drink
Doesn't
anymore. For
drink.
people who have listened way back and we had the Bug Hotel and we were taking shots.
Back in the day,
we've evolved from that. No,
when this
straight
podcast
edge
was
now.
awesome. Back in the day,
It's still awesome.
No, I'm just kidding.
Still awesome. Screw
I
you. No,
kid.
straight edge now.
Straight edge, healthy. Gonna many episodes. Where was I going? Oh, okay. It's easy for someone to not drink when they're at the retreat in Arizona, right?
Right.
And they're at rehab for 2 months, 3 months. The environment's really changed. The question is, can they acclimate back into their old environment and keep those habits or keep those healing moments or keep what they've learned? And maybe they don't step into a bar per se, but if someone's drinking around them, it's not the end all be all. They can stay the course. So the question would be, I guess, can you do what you're doing on Instagram if you wanted to?
I guess that begs the question, are expectations different from the platforms?
Are they? Do they have to be?
Right. I guess, yeah. I mean, you get into this debate of, and I thought I've struggled with this question because it seems like a simple answer, but is Instagram worth posting on if you're not trying to grow?
That's a good question.
So I've wrestled with this a bit, and I can kind of I can answer for both sides. One side is, why bother if you're treating it like a business or you want it to be your full-time thing, or you're hoping to get out of some past life and do this full time, and you think that social media is a great vehicle to get you there. If you're not growing, you're doing something wrong. Like, you should be trying to grow your audience if you're trying to monetize, right? If you think that Instagram plays a vital role in doing so. The other thing is, the other side of it would be, regardless of whether you grow, there's still friends, family, peers that are just genuinely interested in what you're doing, regardless of what size you are. So I think it's to go back to that E word, that expectation of what you're trying to get out of things. And I think people get lost, or people lie to themselves and say, who cares? Like, people who make who cares about the growth numbers are often, like, it's hypocritical, because I mean, you're hoping that this gets a lot of plays. Right? And I feel like I've fallen victim to that before, where I want it both ways. And I think slowly over time, I'm really getting to a place where it just doesn't matter. I think I've been there for a while, but more so every single day. And that's not to say that Instagram isn't a vital tool and key to a certain type of personality's success in creating the future that they want to create. For me, I enjoy doing what we're right now. I enjoy being opinionated, speaking to people, asking questions, getting people thinking. And like, for me, I think this is a better format for my personality. I think this is a better, like, I can be, to go to the freedom word, I can be totally within reason. I can say whatever I want here.
Yeah.
And I know there's a large subscriber and listener base, but I don't see them right now. Mm-hmm. It's very freeing. And just like this YouTube experiment has been, I don't have to cater or fill the shoes of a 13,000 profile or a Tamron ambassador or whatever is in my freaking bio, right? I can just be a nobody to a degree.
Yes.
Now, what happens if that YouTube account grows? to 100,000, and you are a somebody in the wolf video community or the wildlife community, and by somebody I mean like a large audience, we're all important people. What then? I feel like at least I'll remember my roots of what achieved those numbers, and that was being totally free, totally in control, and doing whatever the hell I wanted to do. Just like this show with you. And people can take it or they can leave it, and I can be okay with that. So, in a long-winded way, maybe in general, it's not about coming back to Instagram. I mean, I haven't left. I still talk and socialize with people and post. But maybe it's not, okay, how do you take what you've learned from YouTube and apply it to Instagram, right? Like how do you leave rehab and integrate back into the real world? Maybe you just don't ever buy beer again in that instance. Maybe just Instagram is not it for me. I'm not saying that, but like maybe that's the equation for a lot of people. Play to your strengths. Like, what are your strengths? Some people really get Instagram. Like, they're just so smart with it. I don't feel like one of those people. You know, and I'm somebody who enjoys figuring things out. I don't really enjoy trying to figure out Instagram, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I wonder if you took those 60 YouTube shorts and now bounced back and did 60 days of those. I mean, it's great footage. I don't know if you did that consistently with your wolf footage, and I'm just kind of looking at some of the stuff. It's very consistent. Reminds me of kind of what, remember we had Funk Drone on?
Yeah. Just beautiful top-down drone stuff.
Yeah.
Over and over. Beautiful color grades. Yeah.
It's like, so, okay, great. Looks beautiful. Nothing crazy.
Right.
Beautiful landscape, nice equipment, great color grade, good music choices. Boom, 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 boom. Every day. To me, what's more impressive is the 60 days in a row.
Right. And that's what I'm celebrating.
Yeah. I mean, that is impressive. I go back to, remember we used to do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I think it was like 11.
We would post. Yeah.
You know, that was 3 days a week. That was a grind to me with all of life.
Yeah.
So
here's another thing I'm going to interrupt you on. So whenever I've tried to commit to posting to Instagram, or I'm like, this has happened to me so many times, man. I'm going to post every day for 30 days. I thankfully did it once because we did the episode. But before that, you know how many times I've made that commitment to myself? And it's just like days get away and like, oh man, now I'm 2 videos behind. Now I'm got to catch up. And then just, it's over. That hasn't happened to me at all here. And I think part of it too is I'm working on my laptop. I'm working on my laptop with my phone out of the room.
So you're doing YouTube through the web browser?
I am doing it. I don't even have the YouTube app on my phone.
Where do you get the, do you get music? Is it music or is it just live?
I have a Canva Pro subscription, which connects to my YouTube channel, which licenses the footage or the audio
that they have.
Yeah. So I go into Final Cut, I drop my clip in, time up the music that I want. And that's another really cool freedom. I don't have to pick like the trendy stuff that's got the little arrow going up. Like I can just pick whatever the hell fits it. Go into Final Cut, bounce it, and then I can schedule it right on the desktop, set it, forget it. And I've been doing, what I'll do is Monday will come and I'll spend all Monday doing the week's videos. Not all Monday. It takes me about half a morning or half a day.
Yeah.
All morning. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, done. And I'm on this platform, I'm ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I'm ahead. Where when I haven't, really faltered once. Whereas with Instagram, when I made the same kind of commitment, multiple times have fallen off, stopped altogether. And I wonder how significant the difference is working on a computer versus working on the laptop.
Well, right off the bat, it's one less step of getting that file to your phone than to, so I love the YouTube upload a video feature because usually you're exporting from Final Cut or Premiere, wherever it is, and you just drag it right in. And now, boom, uploaded. Here, we're scheduling it. We're doing what we want. It's all very well. YouTube's been around for a long time, and it does a great job at doing what it's doing, being a video host with some incredible analytics as well and things you can really dig into. So there is, we all know YouTube is a powerhouse, and from my experience, a pleasure to use. Just even posting, our stuff on there. It's been a little bit of a learning curve.
Subscribe to that.
Yeah, subscribe to that. See us in our Patagonia. Not sponsored.
Are we both wearing Patagonia?
Not sponsored.
Nice.
I wish.
Couple white boys talking about their Patagonia
on a podcast. How fucking
drinking Guinness Zero. This is the new era.
Oh my god, this makes me want to puke. This is so self-indulgent.
No, there's so many people who say like the new being rebellious. Pretty soon is going to be like going to church, drinking non-alcoholic beer. Like that's gonna be that's gonna be the counterculture.
The bad boys.
Yeah, whoa, you guys are really badass.
Wow, you're going to church? You must be really bad. Yeah.
Extra church.
But yeah, no, listen, I think everyone has in everything their thing. Musicians pick, not all, but like pick a instrument. What's your go-to instrument? Do you really
they're not playing everything.
Do you really vibe with the saxophone, or do you really vibe with the piano? Like, what is your thing that you're the best at? You might dabble in a few things, but there's something that you just got hooked with growing up, and maybe
or that you love and you're not even the best at.
Sure.
Let's look at Dave Grohl.
Yeah, right.
Dave Grohl is a drummer,
right,
in Nirvana,
right,
and now he's lead singer and guitarist for the Foo Fighters.
Right.
He's probably better at one than the other.
For sure.
But loves one more than the other, maybe, or in different ways.
Right. Absolutely. That's a good example.
Right.
And yeah, it might be just this season. You might just really be clicking with YouTube right now, and who knows? Next year it could be something completely different. Who
it's really nice to have zero expectations, and I genuinely mean that. Like I'm just whatever.
Yeah.
To me, this is again another opportunity. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. It's another opportunity to practice being a committed person. And that's one of the things that I think I mentioned a few episodes back that I've written my Google Doc, my stack of undeniable proof.
Yeah.
That I am who I say I am. And at the top, I think it's about 50 items long. And at the top of that, I'd say I read it maybe about once a week. At the top of that is a paragraph of statements that just written out of who I am. Right? Like, I am a committed person. I don't know everything. I have humility, but I have confidence, et cetera, et cetera. There's tons of different ones. And then I write my stack of proof as a reminder that I am that person that I said I was above. And this is another opportunity to be committed in something and to realize that committing to something is there's magic in that. Like I'm grateful for that. I don't know how else to better put that into words without sounding super like corny. It's just like that's just the best way I can describe it. I've felt on this journey the last 4 or 5 years to really get to a place where I just am enjoying doing stuff.
Yeah, doing stuff. I wonder too, the way you described it, you say on Mondays you take half the day to put out all your stuff, and then figuratively, nope, the other one. Shit. Forget that. Are you writing down the time for me? No, we can keep it.
No, we got to keep her in.
We can. Monday, you are doing all your YouTube things. You're putting them into your laptop. You're closing the laptop. Now, symbolically is what I was trying to say, because I'm sure you open the laptop again in the rest of the week for other things. But there's something about YouTube that really caters to like interests. It tends to pick up on the things you like. Like mine's filled with photography stuff, new drone equipment, a
Yeah.
ton of
What's your YouTube
a ton of
algorithm?
music stuff, a
Yeah.
ton of live shows like music, tutorials. I don't go on there an absolute ton and just go down a wormhole. I'm usually looking for certain things. And a lot of it could be like, how do you play this on the guitar? A lot of it could be, give me a review on this camera gear, whatever it may be. So it is very catered to what I like. I wonder if you posting and then forgetting is freeing in itself comparatively to Instagram, where you get stuck on scrolling through and comparing to, some incredible work, incredibly creative work, incredible
Mm.
curated feeds. And oh, I'm so proud of this wolf. You post it, and then undoubtedly you see 40 other cinematographic with a guy like making out with a wolf, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I thought I was close, and that guy's tonguing a wolf. Like, I have no chance on. So it's constantly in your face, along with just
Mm.
the overall vibe. This is a whole different episode, but like the overall vibe of Instagram has been, I'm trying not to, but it's like it's maddening. It's maddening to me. It's like I I'm not even going to get into it because that's a whole different episode, but I wonder if the ability to just post and like have no expectations, not know what a good engagement
Yes.
used to be, not know
Yes.
what my friends are doing, I don't, you have 700 followers. How many people are you following? 10, 20? I don't know. I'm guessing.
I think I'm
Subscribe
subscribed to
to,
like 6
yeah.
channels
Okay. So
that I
6
don't have to
channels.
DM or talk to or do anything.
Right. All of that sort of stuff gets stripped away to almost just, hey, you want to archive your content somewhere? And like, oh, cool. People are looking at it a little bit. Like,
And enjoying it.
yeah. And you
Like
get
I
stripped
can,
to
and
that.
that's the nice thing too. On Instagram, I'm like, gotta reply to every comment. Gotta chat. Gotta chat. And like, don't get me wrong, I love everybody listening. Like, if you've messaged me, I love chatting with you, and I will take the time out of my day to talk with everybody. And I go out of my way to talk to people. And replying to comments is important. And it's not lost on me that those social skills online are important and part of the platform. But like you said, it's so nice to post, know that a couple hundred people across the world were like, oh, that was a cool 15 seconds of a wolf or an animal I really love. And I don't know who they are. We have never spoken. They've commented on it, and I've just left it be. And that's it. I think the more I'm coming to know myself, I'm realizing I like very pure and simple things, such as we've talked a million times. I think this is we're not. Don't worry, people. We're not going to get into it. This is why I love running. It's shoes and pavement and hard work. Like that's it. I'm not having to buy expensive gear and golf balls and tons of lessons. And it's, hey, I can step outside with shoes on and I can move my legs. And if I do that for so many days in a row, I'm going to be extremely healthy. I'm going to look better. I'm going to have more energy. And those are all the score taking care of itself by being committed to doing something. And I'm trying to take that concept everywhere in my life moving forwards. If I give my partner 10 minutes of my undivided attention at the end of each night, even just 10 minutes, like what does that do for my relationship in the next 30 years? If I eat if I have one meal a day that's really healthy for me, what does that do for my longevity? Just like continuing to think about committing to a practice or routine or something in the simplest terms and how that can and how that will naturally, without paying attention to it, pay dividends. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there's a lot there. I think this could be like 7 episodes, but I I, I do. I think I think Instagram inserts this idea, or social media in general, it depends where you are and what you're doing. And certain things have different hooks, I think, that they grab you by. But Instagram has this, we've talked about it before, this lotto effect that's hanging out there. And between content going viral, that's one way it can hit you. By seeing, and it's shoved in your face, everyone around you that's your age that's getting, I mean, my pet made $38,000 this month by being an influencer. Like my pet,
And you're like struggling to make rent. Yeah.
it's
You know?
it's constant. You have God knows who giving relationship and marriage advice. You have God knows who uh, giving you a speech on how to parent, and they don't even have kids. You have God knows, like, it is a bombardment of people on different levels that feel like they have this need to flap their wings, be special, just really like, I want to be special. I need to be heard. I need to carve out my spot in this platform. And some people are wonderful at it, and some people deserve to be there, and some people deserve to share. But there's a lot of like, it's oversaturated with, I feel like, that feeling of people clawing to find their spot. And maybe going to a platform where you're a zero and just saying like, huh, the weight is off. Like, I can just show a freaking video of a wolf that I liked. Like
That, and since we're speaking about the most simplest terms, I think that is the best way to put my mentality.
yeah. And there's
It just,
something about,
it's just existing.
there's something beautiful. I mean, I'll be very vulnerable and honest. It's a struggle I even have with our podcasts at times. And I absolutely love doing this, but sometimes when I'm inundated with everything else that's out there, I'm like, the last thing this world freaking needs is just another person being like, you know what I did today? And it's like, that's my own stuff. But it is the struggle where it's like, you know what's nice in life? Simplicity, like you're saying. You know what's nice in life? Maybe not everyone knowing everything about you. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Maybe I don't need to be special. Maybe I don't need to be recognized for my Fox photo or recognized for anything really. Maybe I need to be a good father. Maybe I need to
Yeah.
work in the small school and help one kid every year really look at things differently and not post about it and not, uh, good old Erica Berry. I'm going to shout her out. She sent me a message and she was like, you know what? Instagram's weird. Everyone's just showing how great their life is, how many wonderful things they did. But she's like, people like you, or she's like, I worked at a daycare. I've watched over 1,000 kids and like changed their diapers, and like no one knows about that. And
Mhm.
and she's like, you're a school counselor and you've helped over the last 15 years thousands of kids. Like no one really knows about that. You're not posting about it every day. You're just going
I
about
guess
your
what you're
life.
saying too is that nobody needs to know about that for it to be fulfilling.
Right. And I
Right.
think we got, not we, like just collectively, we got stuck in this thing of possibility. Like, what are you special for? Maybe you can make millions out of it. Like, shove it in everyone's face. And it sometimes that works. And I think that's maybe part of the problem. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's deserved, and sometimes it's like it's a little bit much, and we need to take a step back and say like, it's okay that I'm an ordinary guy that likes some wolf footage and I had the opportunity to see it with some nice equipment and got some amazing footage, and I don't need to win awards. I just want to freaking archive this and post it and then go pay attention to my girlfriend and not be on like an app like I thought this was special. Is it special? Does the external validation prove that it was special? Was it special?
Right. The neurotic path.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think where this gets arduous, there's a word for you, for me, is I'm somebody who really, and I know people listening are going to resonate with this. I really want to achieve. Like, I want to do great things. I don't want to live a life of regret. I want to know that I reached my potential in things. And then I found new limits. That's important, in my opinion, for personal growth. Finding out who you can be, I think is really important. Maintaining that while also being able at times to exercise what you just said is very difficult. And I wonder how possible it is to say, I'm okay with doing ordinary things, but I also want to achieve or do great things. Like, how do you avoid just total apathy?
Yeah, the definition of ordinary, I suppose, can be construed. Like you can say, let's you said golf ball, so Tiger Woods is extraordinary, fantastic golfer. To what expense, though? You can argue. We could sit here and have that conversation all day. Some family issues, personality stuff. It doesn't seem that fun to hang around working from 4 a.m. to whatever. Like there is a sacrifice to be anything. So there is the balance. There is that sort of, what am I going to give up to get? I don't think you can have a balance of both. You can touch greatness. There's plenty of probably pro golfers that have wonderful family lives and spend time and don't practice as much and do trips with their kids and all that stuff. And I'm not saying Tiger Woods is not a good dad. I don't know him. But I've just heard interviews. I've heard his brain be obsessed about golf for the last 30 years. And there's some cost to that. Relationships with his family, relationships with friends, whatever it is, there's some cost to his body, ripped up, many surgeries. There are costs to pushing in any direction, and the cost of being like a perfect family man might be you're not running a business, on the side.
Right.
There's just
nobody celebrates raising 3 kids, but it's an extremely incredible feat.
Yeah.
Or a kid.
So yes.
Or having a successful marriage or partnership, or like those are all things that aren't celebrated, but that are remarkable. And I guess that's important to say if you're somebody listening. Like if you're doing things that are hard but aren't celebrated, congratulations. Honestly.
Yes. And internally, that should feel very good. Internally, that should feel very, I think, rewarding and simple in the best of terms. Like I'm waking up and I know where I belong and I know what I'm doing, and I'm not reaching for, because what is the rewards of typical greatness? It's usually external validation that Yes, because of this tournament or because of this award or because of this recognition, you are deemed great. No one gets to decide personally. I could believe internally, I think I'm the best golfer in Connecticut, or I'm the best photographer in Connecticut. That's a nice belief if I have that. If I externally get that award, you're the best photographer in Connecticut.
Right. Then it's objective.
Then it's objective. And then it does something else. But maybe there should be, there's no awards for, dad of the week. And even if there were, you'd have to present it, right? You'd have to present the fact that I'm applying for dad of the week and I want that recognition versus just doing and being. And I think maybe that's what ordinary means, is like you're just doing and being wonderful things potentially.
Yeah, well, you just made a very, very compelling argument again for what we always talk about, is that the reward is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're not getting the Dad of the Week award, your success is the fact that you're doing it, you're managing, you're existing, you're functioning, you're being.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else to explain it, but you bring up a good point. I forget where I heard this, but it was somebody who said this, the quote, I'm going to butcher it, but it's something along the lines of the highest achievers were the highest bidders. And they had to, at an auction, when people keep putting their paddle up, they paid the highest price for that thing. Right. So to be, in your example, the best golfer in the world, that person gave up a lot of something else. And it doesn't mean necessarily that they are more fulfilled or happy with life. Would you trade spots with Tiger Woods?
No. And to bring it back to what Instagram demands, I think it's very clear. I've seen, and you've seen, the people that are successful, and you go, I'm not willing to do that. It's not that It's not that I can't. It's just like, I know, I see what it takes. Some people can do it and do it really well. We see it all the time. We notice them. We go like, wow, they're really exploding. They really get the thing. And not only do we get it, I think you and I can get it. We get it, but it's about executing it. I get how to train for a marathon. You get how to train for a marathon. You did it. I did not. That's the real difference. Right. And it's like really getting into the,
right.
Okay, I get it. I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to.
Yeah. You know what? To bring up the marathon example, when I signed up for that, I clicked no medal on purpose. I didn't get a medal for my first marathon. Everybody's walking around with these big, giant gold things. And I'm so happy for those people. And I'm so glad that they're so proud of that. For me, I clicked, no. Because I smiled every single day with my piece of paper with my 16-week program that I printed off. I got so much of a jolt of energy and a rush putting a check mark every single day. Like that was it for me. And then when I finished, I was like, okay. Like, yeah, that's a great accomplishment. I'm really glad I did it. But like, I'm sad it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Because the art of doing this has run its course, right? And I remember clicking no medal because I remember having this thought of that doesn't make me running the race more significant.
Right.
My legs will still be sore. I'll still have trained the exact same amount. My time will still be the exact same. I guess what does that medallion do for me? And again, that's the same concept that I'm trying to apply in other spots. It's a very nice thing to be recognized, but like by who? Who? No one cares that you have that.
Yeah.
I care that I ran it personally, and then I did that. But I don't need that thing, right? So I mean, how is this applicable to what we're talking about?
I think exactly that. The medal being the external validation, the reward, the award, the token, the win in external materialistic thing. If you the sad thing about social media and Instagram for an artist is that I don't know if anyone's immune to this, that you post a video. No, I take that back. Let's back up. You edit a video of a wolf. You're in the moment. Oh, I remember being there. It was so exciting. This footage came out great. Everything's in focus. I am so psyched about this. This is a killer moment. This is a 1 in a million moment. Like, people are going to love this. You post it, just tanks.
And so we got to get out of that.
There's something that happens where you go, I guess that wasn't that good. There just is, because it did not do well. And vice versa, there's a false inflation. If you put out something like stupid or quick, or someone getting hit in the, in the crotch with a stick and it goes 2 million views, oh, they really like that. I'm so funny. Or like, whatever it is. Or it might just been the day and the weather and the way Instagram's like, this guy hasn't been on in a while. Let's boost this post and get him back hooked. Who the hell knows? But what it does is change our expectations of our own art from both ways. I'm not crazy about this. Oh, wow, that did really well. I'm going to do more of that. Oh, I love this. Oh, that tanked. Not going to do that anymore. And both are pulling you away from being creative and being an artist.
Yeah.
And trying to find, and you're like Plinko, you're bouncing back and forth, trying to find this ride on the dragon based on external, and the audience saying like, nope, this is good. Nope, this is not good. And jumping through hoops to try to avoid the not good feelings and find the good ones.
Yeah. And this is, I maybe didn't articulate it very well in our last week's episode, but this is what I meant when I was asking Trav in the bush. Do you find that you are the content or that you become the content? Right? I guess I tried to kind of ask what comes first, or is it a feedback loop? I mean, does the success of what you post, despite whether or not it's who you authentically are or not, do you become that naturally because the performance tells you that you need to do more of that? Right? And so, I mean, to wrap this conversation up and avoid just being too fatalistic or nihilist, like, I mean, what can we offer people in this complex world of wanting to do great things and wanting to be great, but also wanting to have balance and wanting to maybe alleviate some pressure? And I want to be a photographer, but it's just social media is so important, and allegedly, and how can we? What would you leave people with here? I mean, I think there's value in just letting this conversation sink in. Right? I think we've talked a lot about playing to your strengths. We talked a lot about celebrating the amazing things that you do that aren't glorified online. I mean, if you changed a diaper today, you've changed as many as I have in my entire life. Like, good for you. Holy.
Yeah.
So I mean, what if somebody came to you and was like, man, I'm kind of lost. I want to be this person online, but I'm not necessarily enjoying it. It's a huge chore, but I know I got to do it, and feel like I got to post to keep people entertained, but it's not necessarily me. I mean, what do you do?
I'm going to look something up that I heard the other day, and I think it applies a little bit. And I want people to hear this, because let me cue this up.
Sure, take your time.
But I think it's good to cue into Here we go.
The biggest disease on the planet is people want to be special. If you just come to terms to simply be ordinary as you are, in a way you've already taken a huge spiritual step, that you have come to terms with the nature of your creation, that you're just ordinary. You're not trying to be special. Being special means you're trying to be one up on somebody all the time, which has been taught to you from kindergarten. Are you first or second, what? See, when you want to be number one, which is a most special place that people are looking for, what it means is you somewhere enjoy other people's inabilities and sufferings. It's not about you blossoming into your full-fledged life, it is about being one up on somebody all the time. But this is not the nature of life, this is the nature of a poor intellect. A very poor intellect which desperately wants to prove it is special. Biggest disease on the planet.
So take it or leave it in terms of
Who is that?
parts. Ooh, now it's going to play again.
Biggest disease on the planet is people.
I don't know how to use Instagram.
Boomer. We need that button.
We'll put it in the link. I'm not gonna read anything, but just in terms of taking some of those pieces, I think keying into you. So back to the question you said, what would you leave people with this conversation? Trying to find who they are on social media. I would say first, relax. Like find out what you truly love. Is it, in our case, photography and cinematography and creating something creative? Is it being funny? Is it being humorous? Do you love animals? Do you love a little bit of everything? I think being that truthfully, without trying to prove, in a sense, that you are trying to build or be something that you're not, and expecting results, expecting the accolades for this sort of like, I'm just going to show my work, and if people love it, then I'll keep doing that stuff. If people don't love it, I'll do something that I don't love instead. So watch the shift, watch the internal gut feeling that you have when you post something and it flops. Everyone out there, I bet, is like, oh yeah, I felt that, where you're really psyched about something and you post it and it doesn't do well, and it changes your attitude about the art that you were really psyched about. I think that you think about the best musicians, they took risks. They had probably producers and whatnot, screaming in their heads saying like, no, this is too long for radio, or this, I just think of like Pink Floyd and Grateful Dead with like their 20-minute jams. Like they didn't stop. Rick Rubin, love his book in terms of the audience comes last. And you have to be creating for yourself. You have to take risks. And I think if you start feeling that little like nudge, like, oh, I posted that, I was crazy, now it bombed, no one liked it, I'm never doing that again, then you're going to have a hard time. You're going to be miserable. It's going to be a constant chasing of this algorithm that's a business that you don't know what it's doing and what it's for. I think, Seth, what you found and keyed into is by removing all that stuff that cluttered your brain for the last however many years of like Instagram. Oh, they like reels. They like this. They like, you need a hook.
Yeah.
YouTube. It allows me to just post videos and I have no audience that can say anything. It's only going to be from this point up. So I'm not going to lose followers. I have zero. It's only going to be like people that tend to like exactly what I'm doing. And I don't have to go crazy. I don't have to go crazy with hashtags. I can set it and forget it and not see anything else and just enjoy the art of, I'm going to set the computer, make a wolf clip. That was a really cool memory. I'm going to put it up there for other people to see. All right, Haley, what's for lunch? Like,
right.
Not that she's making lunch for you, everyone. Seth is a great cook. Just throwing that out there. He's not asking her for lunch. He's just saying, let's meet up and have lunch. We can focus on real things. I don't have to worry about this. I think just really keying into the why you're doing it and doing it because you love it.
And I think maybe this also, I think we've had a couple listeners older listeners who have said, like, why do people maybe all of this is just taking it too seriously. Like, it's our fault for putting this level of pressure on.
Mhm.
You know, like you said, just relax. And my piece of advice would be go find something and start as a nobody, start at zero. Even if you already, and I can hear people saying, well, I only have like 1,000 followers or 500. That's still something. And like, you've still probably been in this game for a while and you've consumed a lot of it. Go really start at zero. Go find an app like nobody's using or that you have no idea how to use and just be an absolute rookie.
Yeah.
You know? And take mental notes or real notes and what does that do for your mental health, your focus, your sleep, your attention span? What does that do for you? I think it's important. I always try when I do something new, I try to make note of the side effects in other areas of my life. I know for a fact that my screen time is directly correlated with attention span, focus, energy. I've set income, right?
Mhm.
Well, that's actually a negative correlation. The more time I spend on my phone, the less income I make with my camera. Swear to God.
Yeah.
Don't know why that is. Well, I think I do because I'm pursuing other things that are actually
makes sense
worth
to me.
my time.
Yeah.
But go start at zero. So maybe it's YouTube, right? Maybe it's YouTube Shorts, and find that balance. Maybe it's important to be ordinary and just regular and Joe Schmo at one thing, and at another thing, not the best in the world, but the best you can be. And I think it's important to try and be the best you can be at the things you really love doing. Like, don't try to be the best you can be. Don't try to find your potential in something you just can't stand. Unless this is just funny conversation. Unless like it's an exercise in being uncomfortable. I mean, these are really just, you gotta, it comes back to, why am I doing this? What's going on in my head? What do I need to get better at? What do I want? And I think I was going to say this earlier, at the end of the day, we do everything we do either to stay alive or to find happiness.
Yeah.
Literally everything. You can draw it back, right?
Yeah.
Why are we all posting things that we think will get viral on Instagram? Because it will do this, because then it'll do that, and then it'll do that, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah. And
it's always that.
Here's some bad news is that I think I mean, 100,000 followers used to be like a whoa, like that guy's serious, or girl, like they're up there. Now you come across them all the time. So if you're someone that's low and it's like, it's a mountain to climb if it's just about followers to get to a place where it is not necessarily the best, but like the top 10% even has got to be enormously high compared to what it was 10 years ago. So, and that's with most things. Most things just keep improving and people get better at it. Tiger Woods was all alone, to go back to that analogy, for a long time. And then the playing field became more into what he was doing and learn from it. And then more people had the potential to be as great, hit it as far, had the same kind of moments or winning streaks, what have you. So
right.
The cream is having a harder time rising to the top because the top is getting higher and higher and higher. And I just think when you really looking at it, to get to that point takes an enormous amount of time and effort. And then the question, the sad part is, when you're there, you still have to do the work to get the brand deal. You still have to ask people. You still have to prove yourself. You still have to be organized. You still have to have time management. You still have to be able to write a pitch. You still have to be able to deliver. You still have to do all the things that you could be learning when you have 50 followers, 500 followers, when you have just a portfolio where you have no following, no social media presence, but you can go to companies and bring a pitch deck that you created and spend all that time creating a website versus trying to be funny on Instagram so you go viral and create
We got to get Taryn
followers.
on.
Yeah, absolutely. She's due. She's on deck. And I think the question again becomes really keying into why. Is there a hole in life that you need to fill with external validation and like, wow, you're really great at this art form? Fine. Then that's that. If it's, I want this to turn into money, make sure that that's the path you're going on.
The priority, right?
And learn how to pitch. Take a business course. Do this. Going viral.
The right genre.
Yeah. Is it? I don't give a crap what if anyone sees this. Oh damn it. Then she'd be proud that I didn't even mention her. There's someone that I shot with years ago, and I was like, you don't use hashtags or tag anything when you post. She's like, I do this for me. I don't care. And her following grew at that time. It was like 16,000. Never used hashtags.
But why share if it's just for her?
Because she liked the way it looked, and it was just a portfolio. It was like a journal.
Like, can't she have I guess.
She could. I think she started before it became like a crazy thing. But I mean, the point is like, you can post it. Maybe it's family and friends. Maybe it is followers that really like your art, but you're not searching for, I hope this goes viral. It's just like you have a healthy relationship with whatever it is. Like I'm posting, people can have a few drinks and be healthy, like or like in moderation with anything. I can have a brownie and a cookie on a day and still maintain my health over the year. It's not a end all be all, but you can just say, I really like posting on Instagram. My friends see it. Right. They like it. It's cool that's in my backyard. I'm proud of the state that I live in, whatever it is. I'm just going to put it up there. I'm not looking for the big win. I'm not. Like it doesn't hurt me if people don't like it. It doesn't hurt me if people don't comment. I turn comments off. I turn hashtags off, whatever it is. Right. Whatever it is to make you not go crazy. I think key into those things and really listen to your gut when you're doing something you love. And in this case, Instagram steers you another way because it's like, oh, the people didn't like it. Try again. And you're like, oh shoot, I'm going to try again. And you just shift your creative juices, your creative thing to fit into the mold of whatever you think is the trending thing. Like you said, the music. I don't even know those songs. I'm a big music guy. And it's like, oh, that one's trendy. Okay. Oh, I love this song would be perfect for it, but it's gotten like 1,000 plays. No one likes it. I'm not going to do it. That shit's sad. It is.
Yeah.
Like it is.
It is sad.
It is. So.
It is sad. Well, if you're listening, try YouTube Shorts. And if you've kind of liked this conversation and you want to switch gears, like if you're going to switch gears and go be a zero, do things completely different. Don't just do what you would normally do. Right? Switch it up. You have nothing to lose.
Right.
We really don't have, like, even on our important Instagram profiles, we got nothing to lose.
Right.
Like, come on. And that's me talking to myself. So, yeah, man, we went long. We got into some stuff here.
We tend to do that. Let's
feel free to what?
I said we tend to do that, and we can probably talk forever. So let's
cut it off. Let's cut it off. If you're listening on Spotify, share us your thoughts in the questions and answers section, just by swiping up on the episode or so that the screen goes up. There's a question and a poll. Love to hear from you. And while you're there, leave a rating and review if you like the show. Helps us out tremendously. It gives us our external validation.
Yeah. We need it.
But you know what? It's more important when I suggest people rate and review the show. If it helps people, it gets in front of more other people. So I could care less if, doesn't make, oh yeah, my show was great with Aaron.
No.
But it's very helpful in spreading hopefully valuable information. So grateful for you, buddy. Grateful for all you listening. I think this is episode 218. Let's keep rolling. Our practice of commitment, discipline here.
Yeah.
And
one more thought based on what you just said.
Okay.
There is a gray area with everything. It's not always black and white. There is. Seth and I are committed. If you're committed to doing anything, just do it to the best of your ability. And
right,
us being committed and deciding, hey, we like what we're doing together. We like conversing about this stuff. We like talking about it. We like meeting new guests. We like spreading information and education, hopefully, or ideas, and having conversations with other people, being able to have trips, meet people. All those things are super fun. Right? And it's not getting in the way of a lot of duties. We work with each other's schedules. We really talk and strategize. When can we host? When can we meet? When can we have guests on? We're very cognizant of the other things in life. And of course, we want the external validation. This whole world is run on a little bit of external validation. And of course, we want people to like the show. And that motivates us. Just like posting a photo that does really well will motivate you to post more photos. But if someone, and we've gotten them occasionally where they comments say like this or that, or I can't believe you guys have ads now, or they put us down in little ways here and there, doesn't make us change our trajectory. We like what we are doing, and we want to do the best that we can with it reasonably without giving up other important things. And I think if you're going to run, or you want to pick up photography, or you want to get into cabin photography or food photography or just wildlife photography, like, go for it. Do it the best that you can and see what happens.
Well said. Till next time, buddy.
Take care.